In the answer era, you don't win by being found. You win by being chosen.
That is honestly the perfect quote to kick things off.
Right. I mean, it's a startling thought. But right now, the classic search engine journey, where you type a query, get 10 blue links, click one, and just browse around, that is completely dead.
Yeah, it's officially gone.
It has been entirely replaced by a totally different sequence, which is ask, answer, decide. So welcome to this custom deep dive where we are doing exactly that.
We have a lot to cover today.
We really do. Okay, let's unpack this. We're pulling directly from the source material, the answer era, mastering answer engine optimization. And our mission for you today is to explore this massive paradigm shift happening right now in how humans find information.
And critically, how businesses actually get discovered online now.
Exactly. Because this isn't just some boring tweak to an algorithm. It's really about the fundamental psychology of how we get answers today.
Yeah, it is a fundamental rewiring of digital behavior. I mean, to understand why the old rules are broken, we have to look at the very visual, mechanical shift in the search interface itself.
Which is drastic.
Right. Search used to be a directory, a list. Now it operates almost like an oracle.
An oracle, I like that.
Well, think about it. Search increasingly opens with this set of generated or curated answers directly at the top of the page. And that happens long before you ever see a traditional search result.
Yeah, whether it's AI overviews or those conversational AI modes or dedicated engines like Perplexity.
Exactly. The visibility has moved entirely up the page. Attention is completely concentrating at the top, very often before a user ever even touches their scroll wheel.
Which brings us to a frankly terrifying reality for anyone who owns a website or a business.
The zero-click search.
Yes. More search journeys now end without a single click. 0 clicks. People ask, they get the synthesized answer right there on the search page, and then they just leave.
Yep. They get what they need and bounce.
So let me push back on this whole shift immediately, because I know what you're thinking if you're listening to this. If I'm a business owner, and this AI is just, reading my website, synthesizing my hard work, and giving the user the answer without them ever clicking through to my site.
You feel cheated.
Yeah. Our website owners just providing free labor for AI companies to steal. Where's the value for me? If nobody clicks, doesn't the web just die?
That reaction is so universal. Everyone feels that way at first. But based on the text we're looking at, it really misses the deeper psychological shift in what a click actually represents today.
Okay, how so?
Well, overall click volume is dropping, yes. Nobody argues that. But you have to separate low-intent clicks from high-intent clicks. The zero-click reality is only fatal if your entire business model relies on superficial traffic.
Like ad arbitrage.
Right.
Or just farming basic informational page views.
Right, exactly. When users do click in this new era, their intent is exponentially higher.
Meaning they aren't just bouncing around doing primary research anymore.
They've already received the top-level summary. The AI gave them the overview, so if they are taking the extra step to actually click through to your site.
They want more.
Yes, they are actively looking for deeper proof. They want specific comparisons or complex calculators, precise local pricing, or a very clear next step to take action.
Oh, wow. So the clicks you lose are really just the top-of-funnel bounces you probably didn't want anyway.
Exactly. The clicks you keep are the ones ready to make a decision. So the real danger isn't zero-click searches.
What is it then?
The danger is not being the cited answer that shaped the user's decision before they even needed to click.
Okay, I see. The quality of the traffic goes way up, even if the absolute numbers go down. But if this AI engine is now the one writing the brief like an executive assistant handing you a synthesized summary, how exactly does it decide whose notes to read and cite?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right. How do you get to be the source it chooses out of millions of pages?
This requires looking under the hood at the mechanics. Answer engines operate on a very specific 4-step loop.
Okay, walk us through the loop.
Step 1 is understand. But, and this is key, it doesn't understand the way old search engines did. Old engines matched single keywords.
Okay, literal matching game.
Right. Modern engines map intent and context. They look at the constraints of the prompt and the full cluster of underlying questions. Then, step 2 is retrieve. The engine pulls candidate sources from its index, its knowledge graph, and the live web.
Which means, and this is crucial, if your site architecture is a mess and isn't crawlable by bots, you're completely invisible before the race even starts.
Yeah, totally. That is just the baseline. You have to be technically sound. But step 3 is where the paradigm really breaks.
Okay, what's step 3?
Synthesize. A large language model literally composes the answer from those retrieved sources. It
Mhm.
predicts the next best word based on the context window it just pulled.
So it's writing it on the fly.
Exactly. And for your content, this means it must be fundamentally extractable. If your answer is buried in a, 5-paragraph personal anecdote about your grandmother's recipe,
ALM is just going to skip it.
it will bypass it completely for a site that provides a clear, structured answer. And then finally, step 4 is attribute. The system cites where the factual claims came from.
Let's back up and talk about the complexity of that understand phase for a second, because the source text brings up this concept of query fanout, and it completely changes the game.
Oh, query fanout is fascinating.
It really is. When a user asks what seems like a simple question, the AI doesn't just search that one phrase, right? It essentially splits that question into multiple hyper-specific sub-questions and searches them all simultaneously.
Yeah, it runs parallel searches to build a holistic context window.
So if someone asks, what's the best CRM for a mid-sized bakery? The AI doesn't just look for an article titled Best CRM for Bakeries.
No, not at all.
It secretly runs background searches for, like, bakery CRM pricing, POS integrations for bakeries, CRM customer support reviews, and inventory management for food service,
Right, it gathers all those separate threads.
and blends the results back together. So you literally cannot optimize for just one keyword anymore. You have to optimize for a whole web of connected concepts,
And that reality shatters the biggest myth in marketing right now.
which is,
People assume that because AI is doing all the synthesizing and answering now, traditional SEO is just dead.
that the blue link game is entirely over. Here's where it gets really interesting, because the text explicitly busts this myth.
It does. It emphatically counters that. Answer engine optimization, or AEO, does not replace SEO. It upgrades it. It builds on top of it.
Okay, break that down for us.
You have to understand the critical distinction here. SEO earns eligibility. AEO earns selection.
Eligibility versus selection. Let me use an analogy here to make sure I'm grasping the mechanics of this. Think of the AI engine like a master chef in a kitchen,
Okay, I like where this is going.
and your website is a farm. SEO is all about growing the vegetables and getting them into the chef's pantry. It's the crawling, the indexing, making sure the site loads fast.
Right, you're just getting in the door.
Exactly. But just because your carrot is in the pantry doesn't mean the chef is going to put it on the final plate.
Obviously not.
So AEO is how you prepare that ingredient. It's slicing it, organizing it, presenting it perfectly so the chef actively chooses to synthesize it into the meal.
That is a highly accurate way to visualize it. The chef cannot cook with ingredients that aren't in the pantry. So if you abandon technical SEO, you aren't eligible to be retrieved.
But AEO is what forces the actual selection.
Yes, the AI wants clarity, evidence, and citation readiness.
So how do we actually prepare these ingredients? If getting into the library or the pantry isn't enough, what does it take to actually become the quoted source?
Yeah.
How do you make content citation ready?
You have to sign what the book calls the answer contract with the AI.
The answer contract.
Right. The old approach was brute forcing a page to rank through sheer volume and thousands of backlinks.
Just spamming the system, basically.
Exactly. But the new approach is earning the mathematical right to be referenced as the definitive answer. To do that, your content must consistently deliver on 5 strict pillars.
Okay, let's go through the 5 pillars. What's number 1?
First is clarity. The answer cannot be buried. It must be obvious, fast, and structured right at the top of the page.
Makes sense. Second.
Second is completeness. It needs to anticipate and cover the immediate follow-up questions people will naturally ask next.
Oh, that ties directly back to your query fan-out example.
Exactly. If you talk about the bakery CRM, you better also talk about the POS integration, or the AI will find another source that does.
Right. Okay, pillar 3.
Third is credibility. And we need to be very precise about what credibility means to a machine, because a machine does not have feelings.
It doesn't care about your brand's heartfelt backstory.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It measures credibility through entities and structure. It looks for corroborating outgoing links to primary sources,
Yeah.
known expert authors recognized in its knowledge graph, and just verifiable data points.
Got it. What's the 4th pillar?
Fourth is usefulness. The content has to actually help someone make a decision. It needs to provide actionable frameworks, not just raise brand awareness.
And the final one.
Fifth is updatability. The information must stay current and emit strong freshness signals.
You know, when I look at those 5 pillars, clarity, completeness, credibility, usefulness, updatability, I realize that, honestly, 90% of corporate blogs completely fail this contract.
Oh, easily 90%. Maybe more.
Most brand websites read like a glossy sales brochure. They are stuffed with marketing fluff, vague buzzwords, and these incredibly long wind-ups before they ever actually answer a basic question.
Because they're trying to keep you on the page for as long as possible.
Right. But under this answer contract, you can't write like a marketer anymore. You have to write like an expert under cross-examination on the witness stand.
Oh, the witness stand is the perfect mental model for
Yeah,
this.
you have the AI acting as the judge. It doesn't want your corporate backstory. It wants direct answers and structured proof right up front.
Exactly. The AI engine is optimizing for factual extraction, not narrative persuasion. The source explicitly advises treating these AI citations as a competitive moat.
A moat, like a defense against competitors.
Yes, treat a citation in a generative answer block as earned media inside search. It is a massive credibility signal to the user. Even if that user doesn't click through to your site today, seeing your brand continually cited as the definitive answer shapes their cognitive bias.
And they're buying decisions down the line.
Absolutely.
So knowing what good content looks like is one thing, right? But doing it at scale requires an actual system. How does a business move past just like scattered random website tweaks?
It requires an entirely new operational system, which the source calls the answer supply chain.
The answer supply chain. Okay, how many steps are in this?
It's a 5-step process that basically replaces the old content mill approach. It starts with discovery.
Which means figuring out what people are actually asking.
Right. You stop guessing keywords based on search volume tools, and you start finding out real questions by mining community forums, Reddit, support tickets, and sales calls.
Real human questions. Okay, step 2.
Then comes answer production. This is the shift from writing massive blocks of prose to creating structured, reusable answer modules, comparison tables, and specific decision rules.
Wait, pause on that for a second. Why are comparison tables and modules so important mechanically? Why does the AI prefer a table over a beautifully written paragraph?
It comes down to how large language models process tokens. A table or a bulleted list provides explicit semantic relationships between data points.
It's just cleaner data.
Exactly. When an AI needs to synthesize the difference between product A and product B, extracting that from an HTML table is computationally lighter and way less prone to hallucination than parsing complex prose.
You are literally making the machine's job easier.
Yes, you are spoon-feeding it the answer.
That makes total sense. So after discovery and production, what's next in the chain?
Step 3 is proof. You must establish the boundaries of your claims, explain your methodology, and provide tangible evidence assets so your answers are defensible.
Showing your work.
Right. Then step 4 is distribution. You use PR, social media, and community engagement to reinforce your brand's trust signals across the wider web.
Because that feeds the AI's knowledge graph.
Exactly, which helps you earn those citations. And finally, step 5 is measurement.
So what does this all mean for the metrics we obsess over? I want to dig deep into measurement. Because traditionally, a marketing team just runs into a meeting and says, hey, we rank on page 1 for these 10 keywords. Our job is done.
And everyone claps.
Right. But if rankings don't equal clicks anymore, and traditional traffic might even drop because of zero-click answers, how on earth do you explain this to an executive team without them panicking? What should we be measuring instead?
You have to implement an AEO scorecard. It tracks 4 distinct buckets: eligibility, visibility, credibility, and outcomes.
Break those down for me.
Sure. For eligibility, you are tracking technical bot crawl logs to ensure the AI can actually read your site. For visibility, you are tracking brand mentions in AI outputs. But the absolute game changer, the new North Star metric, is citation share.
Citation share. Okay, break down exactly how we calculate that.
You take the number of times your brand or domain is actively cited by answer engines, and you divide it by the total number of citations generated across a fixed priority set of queries in your industry.
Oh, so it is essentially market share,
Yeah.
but for AI trust.
Exactly. It is a far more stable and competitive metric than simple keyword rankings because it tracks actual selection by the AI rather than just your mere presence on page 2 where nobody is scrolling anyway.
Right. And to tie that back to business outcomes, you have to map your organic click-through rate to changes in the search layout.
Yes, context is everything.
Like if an AI answer block suddenly appears at the top of a query that you historically dominated, your clicks are naturally going to drop, even if your underlying ranking stayed the same.
Exactly. So you can't just look at raw traffic. You have to track assisted conversions and lead quality from your AEO upgraded pages. That is the only way to measure real business outcomes now. Precisely. Because AI learns to cite depth and evidence, it actively ignores publisher noise.
So if your lead quality is going up because the people clicking through are highly informed and ready to buy,
Then the absolute volume of traffic becomes secondary. It doesn't matter if traffic is down 20% if your conversions are up 10%.
okay, let's bring this all down to immediate actionable reality for you listening right now.
Yeah.
How can you apply this framework to your own website or projects starting today?
There is a very literal playbook for this in the source text.
Yes, the 1-hour exercise. Let's start there just to prove to yourself how mechanically simple this shift can be.
It's incredibly straightforward. Pick one topic that matters commercially to your business. Just
Right.
one. Write down 20 real questions that your customers actually ask about it.
And we mean real questions, right? Not two-word keywords.
Right. Full conversational questions. Then pick one flagship page on your site that should be the ultimate authority on those questions.
Okay. And then you are going to add 4 very specific structural elements to that page. First, put a 2 to 3 line direct answer module right near the top of the page.
Do not bury the lead.
Exactly. Answer it immediately. Second, add a small comparison table or a checklist to give the data explicit structure.
Spoon feed the machine.
Third, include a short how we know proof cue, like a sentence or two explaining your methodology or linking to a primary data source so the AI knows why it should trust you.
That credibility pillar.
Yep. And fourth, add 6 follow-up FAQs based on those customer questions to satisfy the query fan-out we talked about earlier.
That 1 hour of work combines clarity, proof, and structure. It hits all the notes.
And for organizations ready to really scale this, the text lays out a 7-day quick start plan.
Right. Day 1 is all about focus. You choose 25 fixed queries to track.
Just 25.
25. But a specific mix. Say 10 informational, 10 commercial, and 5 branded questions.
Okay, so establishing a baseline. What's day 2?
Day 2 is capturing the current landscape. You run those queries and analyze, is there an AI answer? Who is currently being cited? And what formats are winning?
Then day 3 is the critical analysis, right?
Yeah.
Identifying why those pages are winning citations.
Exactly. And usually it's not because they have the longest word count. It is because they have tight semantic focus, strong entity recognition, and clear evidence.
Got it. Days 4 and 5 are execution.
Yeah.
You roll up your sleeves and upgrade 3 of your priority pages using the exact tactics from the 1-hour exercise.
Yes. Then day 6 is absolutely vital, and it's all about improving your technical eligibility.
The technical blockers.
Right. You have to fix technical blockers and internal linking. I mean, if your website relies on heavy client-side JavaScript that takes 5 seconds to load.
The AI bot is just going to time out and leave.
Exactly. Your brilliant answer never gets retrieved. You have to make sure the machine doesn't trip over bad code while trying to read your content.
And finally, day 7. You build your baseline dashboard to start tracking your citation share metric week over week.
But as you execute this playbook, the author notes there are major pitfalls to avoid.
Oh, definitely. I want to highlight this because the biggest pitfall that jumps out is the myth that AEO is just adding a frequently asked questions section to the bottom of a page.
Right. Let's just slap some FAQs on it and call it a day.
Yes. If you just slap 5 questions at the bottom of a 2,000-word marketing brochure, the AI still isn't going to cite you. The core content itself has to shift structurally.
It's an entirely different way of writing.
The other massive pitfall is confusing sheer content volume with actual authority. Pumping out 100 shallow generative blog posts a week is not going to trick an answer engine.
Not anymore. Publishers who simply chased sheer scale and generated massive amounts of shallow noise, they were the ones who saw their traffic completely decimated in recent core updates.
Because the engines got smarter.
Exactly. Answer engines are highly sophisticated now. They are mathematically trained to prioritize depth, unique methodology, and defensible evidence over sheer volume.
So to synthesize all of this, the era of optimizing a single web page for a single keyword just to trick an algorithm into giving you a blue link, that era is over.
It's history.
The new game is optimizing for entire clusters of questions to earn the active trust of an answer engine. You still absolutely need technical SEO just to be crawled and cataloged in the pantry.
You have to be in the game to play.
But you need AEO answer engine optimization to actually be prepared, selected, and cited to the user.
And your end goal should no longer be generating traffic just for the sake of a dashboard vanity metric.
Oh.
The goal is to become the definitive, most reference-worthy expert in your space.
Which is a much better goal anyway.
It really is. When you focus on providing structured, clear, and highly credible answers, you align your business perfectly with what the AI engines are computationally designed to find.
You know, it's ironic, really. We've spent the last few years panicking that AI answer engines will destroy the web and steal all our clicks.
Oh, the doom and gloom has been everywhere.
But I'll leave you with this final thought. What if this is actually the cure for internet clickbait?
Oh, that's a fascinating angle.
Think about it. If the only way to survive and the only way to be cited by these massive new engines is to provide genuine, deep, structured proof, will this finally force creators to abandon cheap SEO spam?
To just survive, they'd have to.
Exactly. It might actually force the web to return to producing genuinely valuable, high-quality human knowledge. In the answer era, you don't win by being found. You win by being chosen. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Next time you type a question into that search bar, I guarantee you'll be looking at the results a whole lot differently.